Hello, my friends. I need to shut my door. Mom's watching. I don't know what she's watching. It's noisy. Her room is upstairs. It's kind of the other side of my house, but let's not tell her. Her TV's getting a little louder each year. We can't tell her. Now, this is the light that I now am using. I'm going to switch back and forth. I like the other one for different reasons, but I do like how even this one is. Lights up the back just right. I really think it's nice, and y'all really liked it yesterday. So really it's for y'all. I just want to make sure you're seeing things seeing them as true as possible. So I just have one of those lights right in front of me. That's it. That's all there is to it. By the way, that was an Amazon link, but it's not an affiliate link. I just went and copied and pasted. I do not make any commission on that. Oh, and I want to give you a lighting tip. So when I got my new light, it's all the way up. That's easy. We know that. But I did scoot. So I scooted my vanity away from the wall. So I'm not right up against the wall, okay? I'm pretty far away from Also, this looks big. But yes, I'm very far away. That way it's not completely bouncing off of the wall, the light isn't, and going right into the phone, and that messes with the color temperature, and it also messes with kind of the contrast. So that's a fun lighting tip. And then I know that some of you might ask, this thing that I have on, I wear it all the time. This is from Free People. They're still on the site. They're rather new, and I absolutely love them. I have it in another color, and then I got one for Mama too, and she loves hers, so they're perfect for spring because I'm always cold. So what I thought we would do today is I'm gonna do something off camera to my eyes, but I feel like I do a lot of eye makeup. But we're getting warmer, not warm enough for me like I mentioned, but we're going into the warmer months, and I know a lot of us are going to kind of start switching to lighter weight foundations and or skin tints. So I thought it would be fun to do kind of a skin tint, skin prep, and just talk about them. Even reapplication of sunscreen, things of that nature. So when I use a skin tint like this, I do my skincare, which I have on my saved highlights. All you gotta do is scroll through my saved highlights, you're gonna see my skincare. But with something like this, since it does have the SPF in it as well, I'm not gonna wear another SPF under this. We'll talk about reapplication later. But I will not wear quite as much of my daily skincare. And the reason why is because I don't want you to ever think that these are heavy. This is one of the most lightweight, comfortable, does not even smell like sunscreen, 10 out of 10. But it's still going to be a very skincare feeling product. So I don't want you to do your regular just skincare and then put this on top, because you might not get the best wear time results if you do that. So we're still doing the skincare, but we're just doing less. We're just gonna do half. Instead of putting on the whole scoop of moisturizer, just do half of a scoop. And even if your scoop is small, I would still do half of that. It really does make a difference, and it's also even going to help our SPF not be diluted. So that's a plus. We want to just make sure that we put it on top. It's nice and SPF 50. It really does make a difference. I know I'm being repetitive, but I see a lot of times with skin tints, my friends and many of you who I do consider my friends, you'll message me and you'll say, look, this isn't wearing at all. It's sliding off my face. It's separating as I'm putting it on. And it's because tints, they do not do the same thing as Estee Lauder Double Wear with your regular amount of skin prep. By the way, if you still want to wear a blurring primer underneath, you absolutely can. I'm trying to, oh, here it is. I'll use this one. This is a great example. So this is helpful. Get ready, because I'm going to show you how to actually apply this. I feel like these kind of pore minimizing primers are one of the hardest things to master. Isn't that wild? I know we're thinking it's literally a primer. You put it in your hand, you put it on your face. If you want to get the most out of this and never have it betray you, let me show you. This is wild. And yes, this is going to be beautiful underneath the skin tint, but there's a technique. The first thing you're going to need to do is powder. But we're only powdering with a small fluffy brush, a Jean Bean hair, and we're only going to powder where we have pores or texture. So obviously I know a lot of you are saying, Rose, you do not have that, but let's say that we're going to do that around our nose. We're going to, you're not even going to be able to see the powder, but we want to kind of set a smooth canvas. We're pre-priming in a sense. This is going to help this perform so much better, glide on, and even have something to cling to. Because these, they give slip, but sometimes they slip off of our skin, even off of the texture. So a little tiny amount of powder first, game changer. And again, put the powder wherever you're wanting to disguise texture, because not all the time do we have texture absolutely everywhere. In fact, you know what? I do have a little bit of my milia here. I'm gonna try that on that, which I do this, but I'm not really that self-conscious about it. I know that it's there. I don't care at this point, but this is a good teaching moment. And then I'll show you with back camera. So we're gonna tap, tap, tappity tap. And again, this is making sure that this actually has something to grip onto, because sometimes when we put a tint or even foundation on top of this, it just starts to ball up, and this is a really, really good tip. Now, are we ready? We are going to take the smallest amount, and I want you to only get out as much. Look, I'm only gonna get out this much because I'm just gonna focus it here and here for right now. I'm not even gonna worry about over here. We're not there. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna just kind of pull it across, and I'm gonna pull it across. That wasn't enough for there. Actually, there's enough here. Let me grab that. See, I don't wanna use too much. You can so quickly use too much of this type of primer. And then I'm gonna take it and I'm just gonna keep smoothing for just a second, just kind of flattening it with my finger. Then I'm going to press, okay? That is going to completely give us a really smooth, even, pore hiding prime. Now, let it dry. Now, when I first used this, it would have been 100 years ago now, and I had no idea. I thought we were supposed to be like, that is absolute sabotage to your makeup. Just absolute sabotage. We only want to use this on the areas that we absolutely feel that we need to. And it is nice around fine lines too. So whatever's left, I'm not going to put any more. But you can use a very small amount, kind of the leftover on your fine lines. Because it is just, it's getting in there and it's smoothing and filling. Nice. Now, give it at least a minute to dry down. Notice that I just keep pressing. And then, of course, you could do all of your nose, but I don't feel like I struggle there, so I'm not going to worry about it. So when I would have first started makeup, I don't remember how long ago, everything was a secret, and there wasn't YouTube. There were books, and I remember studying those books, but I was such a visual person, a visual learner, that I would just read and I know I absorbed quite a bit of it, because now I'll do something and I'll be like, oh, but it wasn't the way that it is now. And I wish that there had been something like this, like what we do here. Man, that would have been nice. That would have been really nice. So if you're combination oily, not just oily, okay? Oily, I'm gonna show you a product that I'm gonna recommend. But if you're combination oily, you can get away with just dusting a little bit of translucent powder where you get oily. It really makes a difference on absorbing it, especially this particular powder. It's so good. It is an oil absorbing one, so this one underneath. And I know for so long we have been taught, even myself, I used to be like, absolutely no way, there's no way I'm gonna put powder and then a liquid on top. But when done in small amounts, thin, even veil, that's what we weren't told, we as in me. It's not going to mess with your makeup in the wrong way. It's only going to enhance and do what it needs to do. But listen, if you are combination oily, okay, you feel like you really need something, this stuff, I'm gonna get you a link. Remember, the Sephora savings event is coming up so quickly now. So if you are oily, even combination oily, but I feel that, like I mentioned, if you're just combination, you could get away with the powder. But if you really find that your skin is just producing oil, I'm thirsty today. I'm telling you, I have obviously used so many different products, and I can recommend this. The way that this would work, I've given to my friends who have very oily skin. They can absolutely agree with me. This is a good one. And I know it's spicy price, but there is a smaller one, and you use such a small amount. Because remember, this isn't going to go everywhere. We might not be oily right here, so we don't need it right there. But definitely put this in your cart for that Sephora savings event. Now, I know that's so much squawking, but it all matters. It matters so much, because if I'm just like, yeah, I really love this skin tint, let's put it on. I gotta tell you how to use it for everybody. I gotta tell you why you might not have enjoyed what you already have. You might not need to go get this one, even though this is probably one of the best skin tints I've ever used in my skin tint life. But if you already have one, I just want you to be able to use it to its best ability. So this one is from Lip Tinted. I wear shade 10. I would at one time would have never used a tint with this high of SPF, because even on my skin tone, listen, deeper skin tones were completely out, but even on my skin tone there would be a cast. The range is very nice. In your deeper skin tones, you will not get a cast. This is known for not giving that sunscreen cast. It's incredible. It makes me happy. I was saying, it makes me so happy. There's no sunscreen smell. It feels like I'm just putting on the most comfortable light coverage foundation or tint. But tint, it barely feels any different to me than a lot of the newer formulas of foundation, and that's a good thing to both formulas. So pretty. And you can even take pictures, and I haven't had flash with this. A flat flashback with flash is what I was saying. It's so good. And then I'm still going to use a foundation brush to apply it, because I just get a really nice even application. It's so good. And remember, I talked about this yesterday. It's nice and even on my hand, so I can just use the back of my hand to place it right now. And then I'm still able to see, oh, I need to talk about how we went over that. That's important. We'll get to that in a second. But I can still kind of see my skin through it, but it's just a little bit more of an elevated, blurred version of my skin. I've been using it even for tutorials. I filmed an Imrata TikTok, and I use this for the complexion. I love it. Now, this is important. It's something that I teach all the time though, but somebody might be tuning in for the first time. I'm just gonna place it here. So when I place the foundation, I'm gonna tap it on with my finger. It was okay if we built over there. What I did over here was perfectly fine, but this, I do need to tell you, just so you know. I'm gonna put one more pump of the skin tint here. I'm gonna place it here. It even feels nice going on your skin. I can't explain to you how much I do not enjoy sunscreen, and this has made me enjoy sunscreen. So what I'm doing, which is something we see all the time, is I'm pressing. And what that's going to do, it's going to make sure that we're not disturbing this primer underneath. This is a very easily disturbed primer. So it's one of the reasons that I even really made a conscious effort to tap was because of primers like these. You cannot do any kind of buffing with these. You can't do swiping. You absolutely have to do pressing motions. Ooh, and also another good tip. You know what's not going to work? But only with this kind of primer. I'm never ever going to tell you to not use a sponge if you're enjoying that sponge. But I will say, a damp sponge with this, there's no way. It can't be done. Don't do it. Now we can still do concealer if we need concealer. If we needed to do corrector, we would have done that before the tint. It makes it a lot easier. And also corrector underneath does lend itself to the tapping motions, and that's why I always teach tapping. I know buffing is just, it feels easier, but once you get used to tapping, it's a breeze, and tapping just lends itself to so many different products and techniques. Now I'm back to being able to wear one of my favorite concealers. So if you were wondering why I stopped wearing it, I got a little bit too fair and it was too dark for my under eye, and now we're back and it's the perfect shade. But I'm gonna have to blend it off camera because I'm testing out a new brush. And I talked not too long ago about concealers and different concealers for different applications. I find that with small amounts of this one, I could still wear this one with a tint, but something like the Hourglass is just a full glam. If I'm doing full glam, I'm going with the Hourglass. If I want something that can go with a skin tint, this one is gonna add just a smidge of coverage. It is, because it's very high pigmented, but it's also very thin, which lends itself to kind of going over more into glam and into the skin tint. But if you still feel like you could get a little out of control with something with this much coverage, I'm gonna recommend Kosas concealer. This is my perfect shade now. They didn't have it for 1,000 years, but now they do. 2.6C is my perfect one. And this one is great for just a quick throw on, very light glam. And then this one's probably my favorite when it comes to the lightest of glams. This one is non-existent. I did want a little bit more coverage because I'm going to do a little bit more of a smokier eye later. So that's why I went with that one. So you could kind of take this skin tint up a notch with your concealer with the Natasha, or you could really keep it very minimal, very lightweight, and you could use this Makeup Forever one. I love this one. This one is so great, but this is not one I'm gonna reach for when I'm going more glam. Ooh, and by the way, the other day I found this. It's spicy priced. It's not really the formula I love, so if you're not my skin tone, don't even worry about it, because the formula is nice, but you know what? The About Face one is better. But what I like about this for my skin tone is I think this is honestly just 1.5 shades deeper than my skin tone. And to just put this in my socket and buff it up, it kind of just gives a really polished, even look. And then this type, if you're wondering why didn't we just use concealer, I don't have to set this. This type of liquid shadow, I'm not even gonna have to set. And it just looked so nice, and I discovered it the other day. So if you have my skin tone, maybe a shade or two lighter or a shade or two darker, this color is quite perfect. It's 18M. Unfortunately, it's really spicy priced. Also, listen, this is another reason I like it, because it is very close to my skin tone. What I'll do is I'll kind of just go underneath here, and I'm gonna take my fluffy brush, the B29, the Inrush brush. I'm gonna tap, and since this is going to dry down, I don't have to use any powder. And if I do use powder, I could honestly use, I'm not going to, but I'm gonna show you how little. I might use it here, just right here, okay? But I'm not gonna use it underneath there, because that eyeshadow that ran away, it dries down and it's going to set that. We're letting this do the setting without adding the powder. Now, through here, adding powder is a lot easier, but if you're struggling with powder looking a little too dry, using a liquid eyeshadow like I just did and not setting right around where your fine lines are, it's a game changer. So basically all you're gonna do, and we've talked about this before, but this was really nice. I did it the other day and it wore so nicely. I wore all day. But just find one close to your skin tone. It has to be very close, or it can get a little too smoky. If you don't always want a smoky look, you could even do this with a smokier shadow. By smoky, I mean a color like this for my skin tone, okay? That's where I'm at. I don't mean I'm setting with black. But since that one is so close to my skin tone, I can just let that dry down. Like I said, I'm gonna add some powder only through here, but not around the fine lines, because I put the shadow where the fine lines are. I haven't used tint in 1,000 years, and I purchased it recently. I'm gonna shake it a little bit, just looking at it. I'm scared of it because of my little jacket I have on. I'm gonna put some on my lips first. Oh, it smells so old-timey, but in a good way. We'll come back to that, but I just want to get it on there and let it sit, get it off my teeth. Doesn't taste great. Tastes like perfume. I will say it's exceptionally pretty on the lips, even just like this to me. And the reason why I think it is because I do have my little lip lines, my natural lip lines that I've had since I was a little girl. I never got lip fillers, so you really see them. But that being said, it's not settling into those lip lines. It's settled very evenly across my lips. That's very pretty to me. Dang, tint is still fire after all these years. Now, I want to put some on my cheeks too, but I don't think I want to put the wand on. So I'm going to roll some kind of on the back of my hand here, which I'm probably going to get a stain, but I'm also, nope, I'm not if I work fast. I'm going to just dot it on like this and let it, I'm going to grab the rest. Nope, no staining on my hand. That's good. And then I'm going to grab my C41 here and then just even it out. Yep, just fine. And interacted fine with the tint. I knew that if I had put the wand directly on my, oh, that's pretty. But if I had put that directly on my face, it could, the wand itself could have picked up some of my skin tint because there is such a thin layer and we would have had chaos. So that was perfect. This is really pretty. This is another product that I had no idea how to use. This one too, High Beam. This was actually one of the first makeup products. I think it was the first that Ben ever bought me. It's very special. Not this one in particular. This one I bought last month because I remembered that and felt very nostalgic. I also remember when it used to have a nail polish applicator and not the doe foot. Do you remember that? Good times. Oh my gosh, it's still so pretty. Ooh, I bet we could do like a glowy pink under eye with this. Yeah, I wouldn't have known how to do that back then. Gosh, it's still so pretty. I have some ideas. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this NARS powder. This needs to go on your Sephora list. And the reason I'm not gonna use a loose powder is because I'm not going around my fine lines, so I don't have to worry about it being quite as finely milled. Wow, that really did blur that milia there. That's nice. The primer and then this on top. And I'm picking up such a small amount because this can get pretty pigmented, but that's also what I want. But I don't want too much. And also I'm using a puff. I'll put on some powder bronzer, but I'm just gonna set around these areas. And again, we're just gonna set around the fine lines. I'm not gonna worry about setting where we buffed out the eyeshadow. And then I'm gonna set my forehead. I wear shade Creek in this. And I love it. And this is a really good tip. If you use any kind of silicone primer, setting with a puff it's a must. It's a must. I'm gonna link these puffs, obviously. They're very nice, very durable, and they do the job. I'm gonna take a little bit of the bronzer on the brush and I'm just gonna place it in my socket. See how the brush just fits perfectly there? Easy peasy. And like I said, I'm gonna finish the eye in a video. I'm gonna do this Kiko Milano lip liner. It's 33 Rosy Brown. It's sold out, but I feel like they restock quite often. And then my favorite one is 36 Cold Brown. It was out of stock, but now it's back in stock, so get it. Because if you're wanting a cool tone lip liner, I like it more than Makeup Forever Endless Cacao. I'm gonna label what I'm wearing, and then I'm gonna label which one you need to get, right there. Look at how pretty this shade is. This is obviously Kiko Milano. Pearly Mauve, I believe is the name. Whatever I have linked is it. It's so pretty. Their glosses are probably one of their best sellers too. and for good reason. This is not sticky in any way. It feels like a lip foil. But since it is a gloss, it wears longer. This combo is so pretty. That little bit of lip tint underneath there peeking through. I think I found my new go-to spring lippy. I like it. So there's 2 setting sprays that we could reapply for SPF because that's very important, especially where I live. It's hot and sunny and only fit for lizards. Now for reapplication of SPF, I talked about this last week when I was at the river. Got that link. I think it's $16 and something. I can't find one that I like more, and I've tried all of them. This is a 10 out of 10. It is. I love it. But there's one more option. I'm gonna give you another option because what do we need in life? We need options. Now, if you're oily, this Supergoop, they know sunscreen, and you need to reapply. But what I will say, there's gonna be a method. You see what I just did? Don't do that. I just got excited. So what I want you to do, because we need to make sure that we're reapplying this evenly, we're going to make sure it's got quite a bit in there. So what I'll do is I'll turn it upside down. It's not going into my hand. I'm just making sure that it's going all in there, right? And then I'm going to pull all my hair back and I'm going to start and I'm just going to do the perimeter. Okay, I'm going to go around and I'm going to do this as evenly as possible. Okay, we're going in a little bit more. See that? That way we don't miss any areas, okay? I can't be having y'all just do here or over here and miss a spot. So go in a circle. But the reason that I enjoy the setting spray a little bit more is because it's going to get the lips, the eyelids. You can get your eyelids again with this, but you might have eyeshadow on. You don't want to mess it up. But you absolutely can. It's just, this can be a little bit harder to do, but there is one more option because Supergoop does have these, and I did try these out, and I really do like them. This one's like wildly pigmented, and these are SPF 30. So if you want to just wear this, and if you're very, very oily and you're like, I just don't want to put more setting spray on, the powder's a great option, but I don't want you to miss out on your lips. So let me talk about these really quickly. So these are, again, these are from Supergoop, and I have 3 shades. I'm going to swatch them for you, but I will get this on my hand. So look at how pigmented these are. Isn't that beautiful? You could just do a light little wash or wear it that pigmented. So that's the shade Obsessed. Now we have High Five. Look how pretty that is. So summery. And again, I don't want you to think they're going to be this wild. You could literally shear them down. It's just all about application. But I love that they have the ability to be that pigmented. And then again, SPF 30. And then this is Love You More. Aww. And you can see the difference there. That's a really pretty color too. So pretty. So yeah, so that's another option if you want to use the powder, but you feel like you need to reapply SPF to your lips because you do. These are a good option. I think that's everything. There you go. Skincare, skin tint, SPF. We're summer ready. Now I'm gonna go film the easiest smoky wing ever. It's really easy. I'm very excited to go film it. That's where I'm going. I love y'all so much. Definitely gonna post tonight. I'm very excited to post. Yeah, I think that's about everything. It's been a good day. Cucumber sandwiches were had. Now I'm gonna go make myself another coffee, and then I'm gonna film some more. And if nobody has told you today, I love you, and I love you very much.